Hello there everyone, today we're going to talk about gamarus and scuds. The thing is, in this video I'm going to make three different variations or three different ways of tying a scud or a gamarus. A gamarus is a very important food source for both trouts in the fresh water, in the still water, and also in salt water as we fish them here in Denmark. So it's a really important, a huge food source for trouts anywhere. So it's important to have some of these in your box. I'm going to talk you through exactly how to do these, and the thing I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to make one in pink, because that's very well suited for the Danish conditions, for the Danish sea trout, also for still water reservoir trouts and stuff like that. But you can of course do this in any type of colors that you like to match exactly the scuds that you have in your waters. As always, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel, and all the materials used in this video can be found at nordicanglers.com. So swing by the webshop, our webshop, if you haven't done so already. Without further ado, now it's time to get tying. So now we're gonna do the three different variations of this theme. The first one is this one. It's basically just called the pig, and it's really fairly simple. And then we're gonna do a variation of this that is a little more complicated and a bit more realistic, with a shell and some antennae and a tail. And then lastly, we're gonna do the most advanced of these, and probably also the coolest looking. We're gonna do one with the shells here, gamarus shells, and some UV glue and stuff like that. So basically, I'm gonna tie all these three. I'm gonna make some shortcuts. So whenever I've showed you one technique for this, I'm gonna cut that out during the next tying session for this. So we're gonna start out with this one, and for this, of course, we need a hook. And for this, I'm gonna use the Arex Gamarus in size 6. That's a very nice hook. It has great hooking properties. Really an awesome hook. One of my all-time favorites. And also have a very nice feel and look for this fly. So, like this. I'm going to take my trusted GSP Vivus thread here. Basically just build some of this, and as you can see, I've added the hook in a bit strange angle, because we're gonna tie a bit far down into the bend here. And then I'm gonna take some non-lead wire. If you're in a country that is allowing lead wire, then you feel free to use that. And basically, what I do with this is 0.20. So I'm basically dropped it here like this. So I'm gonna double this. And then I'm going to double it again. And then I'm just going to twist it into one long strand that is 4 strands thick, like this. Cut out the piece that I need. This was a bit too long. And I'm going to weight this, and this I'm going to do on all three variations of this theme here. So I'm gonna weight it on the underside. So I'm gonna tie this down, so it's gonna be underneath the hook, and this will help, especially for the ones with the carapace, to keep those upright in the water, keep those in the right alignment when you retrieve them, like this. And basically for this first one, now I'm gonna do a dubbing loop. So I'm going to make myself a dubbing loop here, like this, and then I'm going to add the dubbing. And how to use the dubbing and how to make the dubbing is, I've made a short clip about that here. So I wanted to show you how to mix a dubbing. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use we're going to mix these three things. I'm going to take some ripplized fiber here. About that amount is sufficient. Then I'm going to take some SLF salt water in shell pink, which is the color I need for this pattern. Of course, any other color will do. And then I'm gonna take some fluorescent pink deer hair. And the deer hair really is a nice trick to add to this mix, because it just really imitates the legs of these crustaceans really well. So basically, I cut the deer hair here in 3, depending on, of course, how long your deer hair is. And now I have this, and what you do when you mix this is basically you just pull it apart, turn it over, and then put it back on top all the time. So pull it apart, turn it over, back down on. Pull it apart, turn it over, back down on. And you do that a lot of times, and basically just tear this, shred this apart with your fingers. Remember to add the deer hair every now and then. There's going to be a lot of deer hair lying around on the table. Simply push that together and mash it into the dubbing mix here. And once you've done this for maybe about a minute or something like that, you will have the perfect composition. And this deer hair really makes these crustacean flies, these gamarusses, looks really truly awesome. And of course, if you do this in another color, in olive or brown or something like that, take some olive or brown dubbing deer hair to do. I've made a mix here for another fly that's basically just a rainbow color with some brown added. That looks pretty nice as well, as you can see. Basically kind of like the same idea, just another color of deer hair. And that's really an awesome way to do it. So this way you have a cool looking dubbing, and you can do this with all types of dubbing. Simply just mix them together and you'll get something completely new, shining and perfect. As you can see, now I have quite a lot for a lot of these gamarusses. So let's continue. I hope you like the short clip about the dubbing and how that is made. And then I'm gonna take the thread all the way up to the eye. I'm gonna take some of the dubbing that I just made from the deer hair and the ribble ice fiber. Oh, sorry, like that. That was a bit of Danish that slipped out. Hope you can bear with me. English is not my native language, if you were ever in doubt about that. So I added the dubbing to the dubbing loop, and then use my dubbing spinner here to spin all of this. You could add a rib if you like, but for this is going to be very strong and very durable, so there's actually no need for that. And basically I'm just going to turn the dubbing here up towards. There's a bit much here in the front part of this. So it's just going to be a really shaggy, really buggy looking thingy here. And when you're up here, you can of course change the angle. So it's going to be easier for you to fasten the tying thread. Cut off the dubbing loop. Make sure everything is nice and tight. And then make a whip finish. Apply some head cement, super glue or whatever you fancy. And then basically this is the easiest one of these free flies. So this is just a buggy, shaggy looking thing I'm gonna call the pig, but it's really a nice working pattern, and this way it will catch a lot of fish. And it's easy, and it's well, maybe the one of the easiest way of doing a scud, doing a gamarus, but it really has merit. This fly works, and the deer hair just looks awesome. So I'm gonna add the next fly. We're gonna speed things up, and I'm gonna move just ahead to where the next fly is gonna differ from this one. So we'll see that in a second. Now what I've done here is add the non-lead wire and stuff like that. And what we need to do now is we're gonna tie in the next couple of things needed to make the fly look like this. So the first thing we need is a couple of partridge hackles. And I'm gonna take two, because we need one in the front and one further down. Sorry about that. I'm gonna pull off all the leftover stuff, all the woolly parts. We don't need those. And then basically fold it back a bit so it looks like this. And then I'm gonna gonna pull off the tip. I'm gonna use 2 loose turns of tying thread here, and pull, basically just pull the feather into position. And there you go. There you have a nice easy made tail. To give this a bit more volume and a bit more bulk, I'm just gonna leave the hackle stem as I move up here, and then we're gonna do exactly the same thing in the other end, in the front here. Two loose turns. And then I have my front like this. Back with the thread. I do this now because otherwise sometimes I've forgotten to do it, and that's just annoying. You can do that whenever, you know. And basically what we need now is some rib. So I'm gonna take some very thin. This is actually a monofilament tying thread that I have taken a piece of, and I'm gonna add that as ribbing. That looks nice, easy to work with, and will look awesome on the fly as well. I'm just gonna double that. Cut away what we don't need. Now we need to get some. Get a carapace, and this Kylo exoskin. If you don't know this material yet, then you should, because this is the coolest carapace material I've ever encountered. It's thicker, it's just so nice, it's stretchy, the surface just looks freaking awesome, and this is basically a really cool material for carapaces. So look that up if you haven't done so. Of course, you can find all. I think there's 35 colors, something like that. All of those are, of course, available from our web shop, Nordic Anglers, and it's just really a cool product. So very nicely done, Kylie. Just gonna cut this a bit into a point here. Not too much, but a little. Like so. That makes it easier to tie down. As you can see, I'm pretty far down into the hook bend here, because I want this gamos to have the right shape. And then I'm gonna do my dubbing loop. Like this, and I'm gonna switch off the camera and just show you what comes after I've done the dubbing loop. So the dubbing loop is done, as you can see. The dubbing loop is done, and what I do now is I take my CF Design brush here and brush the dubbing here underneath. Just try to keep it a bit, just manage it a bit. Then I take my Kylo exoskin here, and if you pull too much on this, it's not gonna look as awesome, so don't pull too much on this before it is tied down. Oh, I need to move some of these. Oh, that's okay. Basically, I'm gonna lie it on top here. And I want the carapace to be completely on top. Then I take my rib here, and make sure that when you turn your rib the first couple of times, that you really use a lot of force, because that will give that awesome effect of having the carapace here into section. Have the carapace become into sections because of the thickness of the exoskin here, and that's a really nice looking effect on your flies. So make sure you do that, and try not to get too much dubbing on top of in with the ribbing. to get it on top of the carapace as well. I'm gonna tie this down. Fairly happy with the result here. Gonna do a whip finish. Cut off the thread. Just take a look from above. How does it look? This looks awesome. I'm gonna cut off the rib and the exoskin. And then I'm gonna add 2 eyes, just because I can. So I'm gonna take a black marker. And the finishing touch is, of course, to pull out some of the dubbing to make this a bit more shaggy. Because of the rib, there is a lot of dubbing that was not brushed out. And of course, as always, be careful not to pull out the rib to disrupt the rib here when you do this. Because it's going to be difficult to get that back in the right position now that it has been cut with the scissors so close to everything. So not gonna mess more with this. I'm satisfied with this as it is. And basically there you have it. This was the second part of this fly. This was the one with the Kylo exoskin. Now we're gonna move on to do the one with the pole shell, and add some UV glue to that one. So what I've done now is basically move forward to, I've tied down the rib, I've tied down the tail and the antennas, I've added the weight to the underside, and now it's time to add this pole shrimp shell. These comes in 5 different sizes, depending on your hook size, and they just look purely awesome. They're also in 5 or 6 different colors. So really, if you want to make something that really stands out, then these pole gamo shells are just the bomb. So this is a light pink one, and the reason why I started the movie here and not while I have turned this is because I want to show you what it is how it's important that when you tie this. So basically, when you tie this in, you want to have it follow the hook, and then the eyes should be. There's 2 eyes on this. I don't know if you can see that. The eye should be when you follow just behind the eye of the hook. So this is basically exactly where I need it. Now I'm gonna do add all the dubbing and stuff like that, and I'll see you and I'll show you what's because you have seen that already. So I'm gonna show you the rest of this. So I'm gonna have done the dubbing, and then I'm gonna brush the dubbing down as before, and then I'm gonna turn the carapace. And in order to do that, your hackle plier is your best friend, because that makes it so much easier to pull this into place. So I take my hackle plier, and then I stretch it a bit. You need to stretch this a bit more than the Kylie exoskin. And the thing now with the rib that you're gonna turn now is there is something that is very crucial, and that is that you do not get dubbing on top of the carapace here. You don't want dubbing on top of the carapace, because that's gonna really be tricky for you to fix when it comes to. I'm basically brushing off the dubbing of the ribbing here before I turn it to make sure that it's not on top of the carapace, because if it is on top of the carapace, then it's gonna mess with me being able to make a nice smooth looking carapace with the UV glue I'm gonna use in a second. So that's really an important point. Like this. Tie down the rib. And as you can see, this carapace here already has the eyes. gonna make my whip finish. I'm gonna cut off the strand here of leftover carapace without cutting the feelers. And then I'm gonna make sure that the dubbing is underneath, and then I'm gonna start building my carapace with some Loon UV glue. Yeah, this looks pretty good. So basically I'm gonna make sure my UV light is close to hand, and then basically, and this is really gonna make the colors on the carapace and the dubbing underneath pop when you do this. So basically add a thin coat first, and use the UV light, shine the light on there, and then basically just start building. And depending on what UV glue you use, it's gonna take more or less time. The one that I have here is the Loon thin one, so that's gonna take me more time to build a big one. If you used, for instance, the thick one from Loon, or a builder of some sort, then this process here, of course, would be easier and faster. But you can apply a layer once at a time until you have something like this. You can see right through the top of this, and if you like that effect, then basically just apply more glue. But this looks very shiny, and the Loon UV glue is nice and cheap. And if you have a proper UV light, it's fairly tag free. I don't think I've never come across any UV glue that is 100% tag free, no matter what it says on the packaging. So I think all of them have some tag, but only a small amount. And if you use the light here on the Loon, you'll get something that is fairly nice to touch and just, yeah, not have a lot of tag. So now that's done. Then because we have the UV glue, we don't need to be so careful about the rib here, because that's going to be very securely fastened into the UV glue. And well, basically, there you have the third option here for making gamos. And which one of these, or any of these, you decide to fish is of course completely up to you. I like all three of these, and I think the first one, the dubbing one, is of course also gonna catch a lot of fish. But it's nice sometimes to do something that is a little more special, a little more has a little more coolness, a little more cool factor. So 3 different variations on the same fly. It's a proven and good fishing fly that's gonna work great for trouts anywhere. Yeah, tie the one that you like. And also, it would mean a lot to me if you would swing by my web shop. You can find all the materials for this fly and for any other fly you could possibly think of tying. We have very huge selection of fly tying. It's nordicanglers.com, and also this is kind of a new way for me to do a fly tying tutorial. So if you like the style, you like the way this is done, let me know. Or if it's too messy and it's confusing and stuff like that, please let me know that also. I think those were the words for now. Oh, of course, subscribe if you haven't done so already. That would mean a lot to me. So thank you for watching this 3-in-1, kind of like a Kinder Egg. Fly tying tutorial. Thanks for watching, and take care out there.